How many of you have been or know someone who has been affected by Lyme disease? Probably many of you, because Lyme disease is the most common vector-borne illness in the United States, with the CDC reporting about 300,000 cases annually. But what is Lyme disease, where does it come from, and why is it so common? Lyme disease is caused by infection with a bacteria called Borrelia burgdorferi. This bacteria is transmitted by Ixodes ticks, commonly called black-legged or deer ticks. We often think of Lyme disease as an East Coast disease, but it is increasingly common in the Midwest and also present on the West Coast. Right now, I'm going to focus on Lyme disease in the West Coast, where I conduct my research in California. Lyme disease is a very complicated disease system because it relies on ticks to transmit or vector the disease-causing bacteria Borrelia burgdorferi, and also relies on host species such as rodents and deer to keep both the tick and bacteria populations well-fed and thriving. When an infected tick bites a host, the bacteria migrates from the midgut of the tick and into the host tissue where it can establish an infection, such as with this mouse. Here on the West Coast, we also have a unique tick host of the western fence lizard. Ticks love the western fence lizard, but Borrelia burgdorferi does not, and is actually killed by the lizard's blood, which is so cool. So why don't we just release lizards everywhere? Well, as most things in nature, the interactions between ticks, Borrelia burgdorferi, and lizards are not that simple. Recent research has shown that because the western fence lizard feeds so many ticks, they increase the tick population. Therefore, even though they are clearing Borrelia burgdorferi from the ticks, more ticks in an ecosystem means greater likelihood of a tick encountering a more competent host, such as a mouse that it could pick up an infection from. To make things more complicated, there are also birds flying around that could spread the bacteria from ticks in one forest to another, and predators in each ecosystem removing some of the host species. So all this to say, community interactions play a very important and currently understudied role in Lyme disease transmission on the West Coast. But why should we care about Lyme disease transmission in the natural community? While humans are not the favorite tick host, ticks will readily suck our blood given the opportunity. Many human cases of Lyme disease are mild and treatable, causing flu-like symptoms, joint pain, and a telltale bullseye rash in about 80% of patients. However, when treatment is not sought or Lyme disease is not diagnosed quickly enough, some people experience long-lasting symptoms and severe reduction in quality of life. That's why researchers like myself and others in Dr. Sway's lab at San Francisco State University are investigating ways to prevent human cases of Lyme disease. Another interesting piece of the puzzle is that there are some strains of the bacteria Borrelia burgdorferi that cause disease in humans and other strains that do not. Currently, very little is understood about how host community interactions might drive the level of human infecting and non-human infecting strains of Borrelia burgdorferi in a given ecosystem. My research aims to better understand these host community interactions in order to help inform West Coast-specific Lyme disease prevention strategies. You can help prevent Lyme disease too by checking yourself and your friends for ticks after spending time in wooded or grassy areas.